subscription to the local black newspaper. I don't read it. I read it online. But I buy a subscription because I want to support them. But even further than just buying a subscription, because you should read them because there's good information in them. There's really good information that you're not going to find in other places. But besides just buying those newspapers and reading those newspapers, look and see who the advertisers are in them. And look and see who the advertisers are not.
That's right.
And support those advertisers that are supporting your media. Whether it be those that are in Essence, whether it be those that are black-owned radio stations or black-owned newspapers. If you support them and show them that the advertisers, that you're supporting those that they support, then you're making a statement right there. There are organizations that just will not buy advertising in black newspapers, black radio, and black-owned magazines, or black-oriented magazines. And those are ones that you should stay away from.
Michelle, I see you making a note. You want to follow up on something there?
No, Eleanor is absolutely right. And we did some work with Nielsen 2 years ago. They launched this campaign, The Conscious Consumer. And it's important that we are conscious of who's behind the products and services that we're purchasing.
Oh, no, TV.
And at a ground level, Essence and other properties, owners of those businesses, for one reason or another, have decided to go public, right? And that's a decision that owners make, and that's an ecosystem, that there is available for everyone. But on a ground level, supporting black-owned businesses is one of the most important things that we can do. Mm-hmm. And I'm a daughter of a father who owned a dry cleaners in Miami. And I know what that meant with that dry cleaning plant on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in terms of hiring people and providing for our family. And I know what it meant for him to have a show on WEDR on Sunday and talking about those issues in the community and getting people out to vote. So that ground level sense of consciousness, which is what you all embody here in this organization, has been critical to our success to date and is critical to us going forward.
I always joke, if Kool-Aid ain't in Essence and Ebony, then we really ought to boycott, because we have single-handedly kept Kool-Aid in business all this time. Yeah, and Joe, make your point, but I also wanted to ask you, you were the next person I was coming to, how viable and realistic is it for us to really believe that we can singularly compete in today's world with black-owned media, because the conglomerates have made it so difficult? If Bob Johnson or Kathy Hughes wanted to start what they built today, it could not happen, just based on sheer economics. So I'm curious how you see that. Pick up on your point.
Right, I want to take up the advertising.
What about Oprah?
Because when you talk about advertising, the federal government spends $500 million. That's $500 million a year on paid advertising. All those commercials you see from the Marines and the Army, that's paid for. Those are your tax dollars.
$3 million a while.
Virtually none of that money goes to black-owned radio or newspapers. So when
that's what Byron Allen was saying.
Actionable items, ask your members of Congress, where are my tax dollars going? Why is not black media getting any of that money?
That's Viacom.
Just pick up on his point, and then you say why not? It's a simple answer. They don't have to, because we don't make enough noise. This is what Jim is suggesting. Let me tell you what advertisers will tell you. No, don't get mad at me. Hell, I ain't mad at you. Let me explain it to you. Let me explain it to you. Now, if you just want to make noise and you don't want to hear, let me explain to you. Ask it. Here's the reality. The reality is this. Advertisers will say, I don't have to buy them. I can put it on general market and they will still get the message. And that's the way they view us. It isn't about us up here telling you. That's the way they view us. So when you say why not, they feel like they don't have to. And because, as the commissioner said, we've been silent for too long, it continues. So we
That's
have
right.
to start to become that
Yes.
greasy wheel and get it going.
That's right. I'm trying. I'm
Okay,
trying.
and let me just finish one point, because I'm one of the biggest cheering sections for Commissioner Clyburn. About 2 weeks ago, the FCC hosted a roundtable on federal advertising diversity, and we got the chance to put this issue on the record at the FCC and managed to get the Department of Defense, which is the biggest advertiser in the federal government, involved, and we're hoping to address that issue with them. So I wanted to commend the Commissioner on that front also. Now, going to Ed's question about could it happen today? Could you build a Radio 1? Could you build a BET today? The industry has changed so much that it seems it looks impossible. Now, at the time, fortunately, at the time Radio 1 did it and the time BET did it, it looked impossible. So I don't want to say. What I can say is that it's more difficult and it requires a lot more people coming together to make it happen.
Thank